Good morning, good evening, and maybe good afternoon, depending where you're watching this from. Hi, this is Vivian. This is Vivian Acker. I'm Vivian Acker, the workplace wellness advocate, and this is Let's Humanize the Workplace. And it will be a very special tribute, but also empowering for those who are working mothers. This is about the power of working moms, and we have three ladies on the panel, so I'll introduce them later on. Today is, let's say, from going on from this week, it is a very exciting broadcast, because I'm broadcasting from Amsterdam. So if you're team live, or if you want to share, please share this with everybody who's a working mom, because this episode will be a tribute to every working mom who is, I want to empower them. We want to inspire the employees, of course, but also the employers to do better for working moms. So we are going to touch on some of the items that working moms are facing. And that's why I'm asking you kindly to share this with others, so that they can feel inspired and they can do better when it comes to humanizing the workplace. So like I said, it has been a challenging week. I'm based in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And at the moment, we have a shutdown from the government. The government shared last Sunday that we're supposed to be working from home. All public functions are closed. So the clubs are closed, the gym is closed, but also the schools are closed. So my my partner is working downstairs, and we had already a struggle, a challenge for who's going to use which screen, a monitor, because I normally use two monitors when I do this broadcast. So I kindly asked him if I could borrow, my monitor, so that I can do this broadcast, and then I'm going to split and know that I have to invest in another monitor. But besides that, due to the corona, it has been a challenging week. It's going to be a challenging week, and it will be 3 weeks that we are remaining indoors, but we'll make the best out of it. And also know that I'm going to do some extra live interviews or live broadcasts to share some tips about healthy remote working. And also, if you want to join the conversation, please let me know. So please also let me know if you can hear me well, because I have to monitor this from LinkedIn, from Facebook, etc. But I cannot pull up the comments from LinkedIn. So please let me know if you can hear me, and I have to look away from time to time to see what's happening, because otherwise I can't see the comments, and I really want to involve you in this conversation. So just share with me. So if you're team live, thank you for being team live, and if you're #team replay, thank you for team replay. And I also saw that another lady was watching, Katie Mains. So hi, Katie, thank you for joining this conversation, and I'm really looking forward to inspire all the ladies that are working moms. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I am a working mom myself. My son Orlando, at the time this picture was taken, he was about 3 years old, or maybe 2.5, and he's now turning 7 this year. And he's the inspiration for why I'm doing what I'm doing with humanizing the workplace, but also he's my inspiration for becoming a workplace wellness advocate, and by helping managers keeping their team members healthy, happy, and safe. And especially during these times, remote working can be a very challenging aspect for a lot of managers. So thank you for sharing. Thanks, Caddy, for joining. Yes, he's amazing. He steals a lot of hearts. So going back to the power of working mom, I really want to highlight this lady, 𝗪𝗫 Chappell. I've been following her for a while now. She has been she is a LinkedIn editor, news editor, and she has been doing some interview series, which is very inspiring. And one of the posts that she shared last year was about her returning back from after maternity leave, which is very inspiring. And also it challenged me to to maybe do this more often, because we need to share examples about how women are dealing with the fact that they are coming back out to work and how they can, you know, balance it all or integrate their work life. And that's why I wanted to highlight Maya Chappelle. She was, I'm going to read it. So next Monday will be my first day back to work from maternity leave. I'm excited about what's to come, but I'm also dreading about the transition. This is my second time around, and I'm much more prepared, but that doesn't make it any easier. Moms, or anyone really, I would love to hear how you prepared for your return to work after an extended leave. Tell me in the comments. So if you want to share, you know, if you want to share your story, or please let Maya know that I highlighted her in this, right? So that she can be involved, but also share your story, share something about what helped you make that transition. Coming back to the next topic, last week I did a broadcast or an interview in Dutch about the state of the mothers' rooms in the Netherlands. I know that this is an international problem that mothers are facing, especially new mothers who are breastfeeding. And this is a photo shoot that 𝗓𝘁𝘀𝗵𝗪 has done in the Netherlands about, you know, the alternative mothers' rooms, or I call it the unhygienic mothers' rooms, where mothers are pumping, right? So if you want to see more of the pictures what Floor is sharing, please let me know, or go to bit.ly/𝗓𝘁𝘀. And I'm just sharing a few highlights about this this photo shoot, because we really need to change this perspective. We really need to do something about this scene, because this is not the way that it's supposed to be. So this is a mother pumping from a storage room, which isn't a good example as well. And another one is a mother pumping in the car, which is also a bad example. And that's also one of the reasons why I wrote an article, an open letter, about humanizing the mother's rooms. We need to do our best to humanize the mother's room. I know that there are a lot of small companies out there that are facing challenges regarding humanizing the mother's room. But then again, the question that I had is, would you eat your 4-course meal in the restroom? And if the answer is no, and if you're doing that, then that's up to you. But don't expect a mother, or don't expect a new mother to pump her milk in the restroom anymore, because we need to do something about that. So I wrote this open letter for every CEO, every real estate manager, every real estate facilitator or facility manager, because they are the ones who can really make the change happen and can really take care of the new mothers. And I also wrote the benefits of having a mother's room, and having a mother's room so that you can keep talent from within. So with no further ado, I think this is my last slide. Oh yeah. The last thing that I wanted to share is something about the maternal wall bias, which a lot of working moms, I'm not saying all moms are facing, but a lot of working moms are facing. So I'm going to read it out loud. Maternal wall bias occurs when colleagues view mothers or pregnant women as less competent and as less committed to their jobs. She says it's a major problem, or the person who was sharing this article, it's a major problem for women's career advancement. Maternal wall bias can manifest in different ways, coming from hiring committees, colleagues, or individuals conducting performance evaluation. And I want to do my best together with the experts of today to do something about it. Thanks, Katie, for sharing your comments. And yes, the image is really powerful. And that's also why I wanted to do something today and speak on it today. So with no further ado, I am going to bring up my guests of today, and I'm going to read some of the I'm going to read their profiles. So Natasha, who is a Chief Happiness Officer at Grab in Singapore. Her role is to ensure Grabbers are excited about work and are proud of the work that they do, whilst bringing the best employee experience. And the next guest is Marjolijn Vlug. And Marjolijn is a job coach for people who know what they want but are looking to get there with more clarity and less stress. We all need less stress. She also advises organizations about improving their overall HR recruitment experience. Welcome, ladies.
Hey.
Hey, are you excited about today?
Super.
Yes. So the first question that I have is, can you share your reason for joining this panel talk? What's your why? You go. Yes, sorry, Natasha, you go. Yes.
For me, it's really twofold. And the first thing is obviously to empower working moms out there. Guys, the guilt doesn't go away and it's okay. Okay? That's the first reason why I want to be here. The second part is it's really just to sort of talk to the employers out there, right? To tell them a lot about what working moms are, what are our benefits, how fun we are. I've got 2 boys myself, so it's a lot of work, plus work as well, and a husband who pretty much acts like a baby half the time. So I think, what I'm trying to say is we're a whole package, guys. And I think this is basically why I'm here today.
Yes, and Marjolijn.
Oh, well, I'm here because there's so much more information out there that you could really benefit from, in the sense that for employers, there's a lot of misunderstandings as to what working moms bring to the office. And moms themselves, there's so much they don't realize yet about the power and the strength that they bring and the new skills that they've gained that they're bringing in. I think that deserves airtime, definitely. And I'm so happy that you bring this up and that you're voicing these ideas and these initiatives, Vivian.
I have to speak up because also Ranessa is saying maternal wall bias is equally known as birth penalty. I didn't know that. So thank you, Ranessa, for sharing this. And for me to do this, some of you may know my story, some of you may not know my story, but I'm only going to share something. In 2013, I faced pregnancy discrimination. And at the time, I didn't know what to do about it. But it always, it didn't sit with me well. And I wanted to speak up at that time, but I couldn't. And now I am using my voice, I'm using my platform, not to penalize the company that I used to work for, but just to inspire companies that they can do better, because we can treat each other better and help, assist, the transition of a woman coming back after maternity leave, because it is a lot, especially when you're a new mom. You have a baby with no instructions, and then you're coming back, and also your colleague expect you to be, maybe your manager or your colleagues or the workplace is maybe expecting you to be the same, but a lot has happened. When a baby comes, you change, you feel, at least I felt empowered in a way, but I also felt like, okay, where is my role? Where do I fit in, and how can I transition back to the workplace? So that's my why. And when it comes to the maternal wall, what can we do to break down that wall? Because we need to do something about that. Marjolijn.
Well, my stance, just like I said just now, is there's so much that people are not realizing, that it's there, that it's a misunderstanding. And I think the first step is to talk about this more and to address it, and also to realize that this is not gender related specifically, because there's loads of women out there who are mothers themselves, who have huge misunderstandings about all the other mothers in the workplace or mothers to be, because they think, oh, this should be what I expect of myself, or she will have the same experience as I had. Whereas every child is different. Every pregnancy is different. Every motherhood is different for every child that arrives. And there are some similarities, but there's so many differences. And realizing that and making space for that and starting up a conversation about that is really necessary, because it prevents a lot of hurt, and it brings out a lot of talent and good stuff that you're completely missing out on both sides. Moms themselves that don't realize that they have them, and companies that are just underusing them, not utilizing them.
Natasha, what do you have to add on?
That's true. I mean, I remembered, you know, this term called pregnancy brain, right? And what a cop that is. Sometimes, you know,
Natasha, just to stop you, but I'm not hearing you clear. Maybe can you turn your camera off so that we can only hear you? Yes.
What about that?
Yes, that's much better. Thank you.
Awesome. I think we've all heard this term pregnancy brain as well. And, you know, it's a cop-out, right? Sometimes it's just when you're pregnant, there's just so much going on. Your body changes, your hormones are everywhere, you know, there's mood swings. And I think sometimes there's a lot of empathy that needs to come through. I think a lot of the times, how do we support people through this invisible maternal wall, right? Is understanding again, you know, what you mentioned before, understanding that every motherhood is different, every child is different, every pregnancy is different. And just being that support person there. A mom is not just, you know, someone that cares for you, right? She's the driver, the grocery person, the psychologist, and we don't even get paid. I mean, we get paid by hugs, and that's nice, but you know, that's sometimes that pays the bills a little bit. But, you know, the understanding of what we go through within 24 hours is very different from before we were mothers, right? Or before we had children.
True.
So I think just knowing, just being empathetic and saying, okay, this is the new you, or this is how things can change. But we also gain a lot more new skills from it. I can probably, you know, type an email while doing a plank now, you know. I can definitely cook a roast whilst being on a call. I mean, obviously I don't want to like advocate for multitasking, but that's these are the skills that we can get now. So I really believe that demolishing this invisible maternal wall, you guys are missing out on some cool people, like seriously, right? But yeah, but that's just kind of my 2 cents.
Yes, I love the way how you bring it, and also regarding the maternal role, because I've been pondering about this, how companies can prevent this, and I feel like we need to raise awareness. So I'm doing this with this broadcast, but also have those conversations in the workplace. And if you need to, you know, have a conversation, maybe ask the 3 of us, or ask one of us to facilitate that conversation regarding how are you going to address this? Because the last thing that you as an employer or as an organization want is to lose talent because they don't feel welcomed in the workplace and they feel a huge disconnect. So have those conversations, at least ask them, how are you? Are you sleeping well? Just the kind questions that it makes them feel at home, but also know that they feel valued in the company, that they are missed in the company, right? It's the little things, and that's why, you know, ask humanized questions so that they can feel human at the workplace instead of them being a number in the workplace. So I have a few questions coming up from the listeners. So one of the things is, do you think companies need to acknowledge, I don't know this word, so maybe can one of you help me out with pronouncing it? 𝗔𝗰𝐀𝗶𝐵, more in the Matterson, more in the workplace. Yes,
you know what it means.
Katie, please help me out. Katie is watching live from Australia, and we different words for here, so please help me out. And she was also sharing so many new skills and so much newfound confidence. Definitely. I don't know how it was for you ladies, but when I became a mother, it took me a while to realize what kind of power I had. I'm not comparing myself with Beyonce, but Beyonce also shared that once she became a mother, she did not need to you know, address her persona as Sasha Fierce. She already knew that she had it in her, but she knew that power, the power of a mother who is empowered. Woo, if you have that in the workplace, definitely utilize it, but also embrace it. Embrace the mother, because there is, I cannot describe the power that mothers are having, but it's huge, and it's more worthy when you treat a mother as a valued employee, then you treat a mother as a non-valued employee, because that mother is going to discuss her experience with other people, and that's not what you want. Anything to add, ladies?
Well, I love that example of Beyonce, and I do recognize that, you know, this Sasha Fierce is not a separate persona anymore.
No.
She's right here. But no, I'm now I lost what I was going to say.
Sorry.
I do think that's the thing. I do think that you know, not every mother feels this way right after birth, or after 3 months, or after 6 months. Or even after 2 years, maybe it starts then. My youngest is 2 now. But it's important to check in with people and to raise their own awareness as well. All the new things they've learned. I mean, you know, you can learn to multitask, like Natasha just raised, or just realize that you become really good at prioritizing.
Yes, definitely.
Or your caring side comes out more. There's so many things that are very individual to you. Sorry, very personal. And that's different for everyone. And that makes it more interesting to figure that out. And it changes a bit during the period, the first few years of motherhood, especially, I think, of how that has affected and changed, and what is it brought up. So do check in with people more than just once to find out how they're doing. And the same goes for pregnancy as well, because I think pregnancy itself is the first instance when women themselves, and especially employers, think, oh, well, there goes their production value, there goes their boom. And that varies spectacularly during pregnancy. It can. I mean, some people could just keel over and need to stay in bed for 9 months. Other people feel awful for 10 weeks and then feel great again for 6 months. That is very different as well, very individual stories. So do keep checking in. And that's something that I experienced and that I've seen in other women as well, that as soon as they call in sick because they're throwing up in the morning, they get written off, and then they start feeling better, and they've been taken off their roles and their tasks, and they turn out great, or they come back after their maternity leave and they're great again. I've seen I'll see if I can share it later. I've seen a great graph of Serena Williams.
Yes.
Bring that story up as well. It was a chart of her accomplishments, of all her wins, and it was like super high, super high, super high, super high, super high. Boom, she had a baby. She came back super high, super high, super high, super high. Obviously, if you don't pay attention to, if you only see this and you don't pay attention to it going up, you're missing out on, you know, Serena Williams' comeback. That's what every woman should do. Yeah. If you check out what she's bringing in when she's coming back.
And know that when she was pregnant, she was even, I think, 12 weeks or 13 weeks pregnant. She won a Grand Slam, right? She won a Grand Slam. Yeah. Just saying. So.
And that's what pregnancy allowed, right? So that's different for every woman as well. You know, pay attention to the individual story and the individual situation, and make some space for that. Talk about that.
Yeah. I'm going to the next question, Natasha. Can you share what companies can gain from working mothers? And I'm especially looking forward to your story, because you haven't shared your story yet. So
I've got way too many stories. But I think when we first kind of posed this question, you know, can you share what companies can gain with working mothers? Share 3 tips. I came up with 4 actually.
That's fine.
I think the first big thing is that you can gain someone that's so much more empathetic, you know, someone that can really go down to the ground, be that listening ear. I gained that a lot more after becoming a mother, because I just wanted to get down to who drew this on the wall, you know. And it kind of came to this like, all right, honey, I'm listening to you. So who held the pen? You know, I'm trying to like deep dive into that. I'm learning these things as I go, right? Another thing is moms do not waste time, man. I mean, we have, you know, we're so decisive. It's crazy. Like, just give me a proposal. If it smells right, let's go. You know, I don't think we're in that case now whereby we're good. We're just gonna keep thinking. We're just like, no, we got to move already. You know, so that's great. Another thing that you can gain definitely through a working mom is moms are incredibly adaptable. I don't know if you guys know this, but like I was just watching a show on Netflix called Babies. Amazing show, by the way. I'm on like my 3rd episode. Your amygdala in your brain actually grows when you're a mom. So when that baby comes out of you, that piece of your brain actually changes. The shape changes. And what does it do? It's actually like your survival mode. And what happens is that, you know, when you're in the middle of the night and your baby cries and, you know, your husband's tapping you on the shoulder and he's saying, hey, kid's crying. It happens to me, guys. No,
yeah, I know.
He's like, hey, your kid's crying, you know, because it's not his kid till 6 a.m. He's going to kill me when he watches this, but, you know. But I think that part of your survival head, like you just go out there and you just execute, you know, you're just kind of like, all right, let's go, baby. What do you need? You need this, you need this. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm making milk like with one hand, you know. So that's a part of that. We're so adaptable. That we can kind of like, we're a little bit more, you know, we can move a little bit more, right? And the 4th thing is that moms, you'll be surprised, we can improvise, man. Like, have you ever been, you know, you have to go to how?
I'm not hearing you. Have you ever? And then
creating on the spot, you know? Oh, you know, and then if your kid has to go to a Halloween party tomorrow and you don't have an outfit, yeah, come on, you can create it on the spot. You're just like, I'm going to create a cape out of this blanket and we're just going to make it work, right? And these are just the fun things that motherhood can bring, and what we can also utilize in a working space. And that's just, you know, a lot of when you guys talk about mothers and employers and things, and I think I shared this with Vivian a long time ago, when I first got pregnant. And I was just like shocked. I was like, oh crap, we just got married last month and we got pregnant. We didn't even have time to go on a honeymoon. And I told my boss and I said, hey, I need to talk to you. And he said, okay, cool. Got me into a room. And I said, I think I'm pregnant. I told my boss I was pregnant before I told my parents. Yes. And he like didn't know what to do. I mean, this was, you know, a 30-year-old just became a manager, kind of looked at me and he's like, okay. And like, he gave me like a high five, you know? And I was like, oh, is this how it's meant to be? And then pivoting from that, I went up to my managing director, who is, you know, a father, and he cried. He was like, oh my God, I'm so excited for you. And I'm just like thinking about this space that I've just been in for 10 minutes, right? This manager who you know, is single and like parties, is like giving me a high five when I was, you know, when I found out I was pregnant, to this managing director that cried. I was kind of like, whoa, this is like 2 different types of experiences I'm getting in this minute. And I think what it is that, you know, I kind of wanted to come to this panel not to be like, hey, you know, there's a way to engage when someone tells you they're pregnant or with a working mom. It's like, there's no right way to do it, because you're in shock, they're in shock. You know, you can't blame them for how you're experiencing or how they're experiencing, but you can make it, what you can control is how it affects you, right? How you feel, how it makes you, you know, in that moment. But what I wanted to share as well is the second time I felt pregnant, I had my 4 months coming back to work. And I think within the first week, I found out I was pregnant again. And that was a weird little conversation. He was so excited I was coming back to work. He's like, oh my God, Tash, you know, it's going to be great. And I said, hey, I think I'm pregnant again. And I think like a lot, I could just see in his brain, right? Like there's like this movie happening, like, oh my God, like, guys, have you not heard of stuff? You know? And then he went into like solution mode. He literally like took a calendar out and he went, okay, so you're going to be out for 9 months. This is what's going to happen. This is how you're going to make, you know,
wow.
And da, da, da. And I was like, whoa, you know, first of all, you didn't give me another high five, which is kind of weird.
That's always different for the second.
Yeah. It is different the second time, but like I think like I have to empathize with him too, right? Like he was just in that mode of like, okay, we've seen this, Tash, we've gone through this before, let's do this together. And after that, he actually apologized to me. Like he actually took me into a room and he's like, I'm so sorry that that's what I did, but like I just had to go into that space to look at how you're going to be productive again. And I kind of appreciated towards the end, right, whereby he was like, I'm really sorry that the first thing I did that. Like I was supposed to be a bit more empathetic. But I think to each their own. And I think he needed to have those experiences himself to sort of recognize that, to check himself a little bit. You know what I mean? So yeah, I thought that was, and I just wanted to share that because at the end of the day, it's not really to say the employer this the wrong way, but it's really about how you sort of control it, right? Yeah. And how you like take everything in. And I know, you know, body's changing, hormones are changing. And I think that's I think it's really about how you accept these things sometimes.
Yeah. And Marjolijn, and you?
Well, what I'm glad that was your experience, and thanks for sharing that story. I've seen loads of different types of reactions from employers, from "oh, that's great" to "when can we fire you" to "you told me I'm gonna have another baby. Why are you doing that now?" That was pretty bad. My own experience with sharing the baby news has always been quite good, but from an HR perspective, what I then see happening behind the scenes and behind the employees' back is quite harsh. And like you said, you know, what surprises me is that one of the skills that you learn as a mom, you make it work. Yeah. So, you know, when you're just pregnant, everything's going well, and that's not the thing that kicks in. But I'm actually quite happy to hear that that was. I mean, I understand that it felt different at the time for you, Natasha, but I'm quite happy that your manager went into that mode of let's make this work. How can we plan this? How can we do this? Rather than, oh my God, this is not going to work. When can we get rid of her? She's not been performing anyway, because that's another halo. True. Suddenly all your performance is devalued and seen in a different light. And, oh, she wasn't that good anyway. So, you know, stories get constructed of how you were not actually valuable at all anyway. And that's often a response that I've seen. And that made me so sad. You know, I'm all about the human experience and about being real people at work, humanizing the workplace, but also seeing people at work as real people. Yeah. Well, you know, why would you suddenly shift your perspective and suddenly treat people as resources just because they happen to be pregnant? Yeah. Yeah, I'm really hoping to raise the awareness in employers, but also in women themselves, of how to deal with this and have these conversations. And you know, if people don't understand, then try to explain to them. True.
I mean, I went to a personal situation where I had 5 managers, and one of my managers asked me, was it planned? So Natasha sharing her story that she told her manager before even telling her family and friends. I told the company that I worked for at the time, I was about 5 or 6 months pregnant because I was sick a lot of the time. I didn't know what was happening to me, and I felt very alone, also very alone because I was working in a male-dominated environment, in an IT environment. And I had my mother, but then again, she did not know, she comes from another era. And there weren't that many mothers in my circle who were facing what I was facing. So I felt very alone, and I ended up, because of this whole, well, not only because of this situation, but it sparked postnatal depression within me, because I was doubting where my place, my role was, what am I going to do next? And I really want to use this, but also use this interview, use this conversation as we can all do better. We can all do better. Reach out to each other, especially now with social media. You have so many other platforms. You have Facebook, you have Instagram, but also reach out to maybe one of us if you want to have that conversation and don't know how to start it. Because being an advocate on your own, it is very challenging, like the way I started. But then again, I hope that you found some encouragement, some inspiration in this conversation, because we do need to have that. And going to the next, I have a comment. Sahil says hi. Thank you for watching. And Katie also shared something about 𝗪𝗫. I hope that I'm saying it right, but I'm going to read it out loud. It's a human phase of development like adolescence. The body and mind goes through significant transformation after having a baby. Lots of studies being held on this in the US at the moment. We need to teach this. We need to teach mothers that this is a normal phase, and we need to help them go through it. And I totally agree, Katie. Thank you for joining this conversation, because it is needed that we help each other, support each other, especially during these challenging times, but also after Corona, right? After that, we can do things that we can humanize the workplace for mothers, that they can feel welcome and have these conversations with each other. Katie, yes, honest and transparent conversations are so important. Thank you, Katie, for adding that up. And going to my next question, because what do mothers need to know when they are becoming a mother? Marjolijn.
Well,
3 tips.
Matrescence is a great new word to learn. Like you spoke about the amygdala changing. I've even heard that when you have a baby, part of the baby's DNA stays in your body. All your organs move. I don't think your heart moves, but everything else gets shifted and moved around your body. And I mean, lots of people really feel that. There's so much going on, but and do realize that that's different for everyone. Do look out for other people, for a community that can support you. There's so much going on online, especially now, but there has been Facebook groups growing huge. Because, I recognize your experience, Vivian, that you do need people around you who are in the same boat or have been, and just to share experiences.
Yeah.
So that's number 2. And number 3, you will be changing and you will be gaining a lot of new skills, perspectives. That's okay. Let them sink in and practice some self-insight there. Just investigate that and find out what's happening, and find out all the new things that you've learned that came along with having that new baby around, and that second baby, and that whatever your individual situation is, how that has impacted you and what has it brought you. Yeah, there's loads of good things that come out of that. And if you spend some time figuring that out, thinking about it yourself, asking other people around you, you can list that and have that as a basis for, this is what I bring now. This is my worth.
And Natasha, what do you have to add in on that to that?
What do women need to know when they're becoming a mother? I thought of 3 things. The first thing is, again, your body changes, right? Things are gonna blow, like, your legs are gonna get swollen, all that sort of stuff. Just be kind to yourself. It's gonna be okay, Your priorities will start to change. That late night will not happen anymore because your other late night is gonna happen. So trust me, those things will change. And the last one I think is your heart will melt, right? What you think, when you see a poo now, you think it's disgusting, but when you're a mom, it'll be the cutest poo ever.
It is true.
You're like, oh my God, that's gross. And then when like your baby first have his first poo, you're like, oh my God, good job, honey. You will find these little moments to yourself that you find suddenly, oh my God, that's adorable. Him making a mess and eating, it's like, oh, that's so cute, but you will find these little moments, and you're gonna be shocked at how you react to them, but you're gonna feel so much joy. You're gonna feel so much joy every single day, and that's pretty much that. Yeah.
Thank you. I wanted to add in that do not investigate, but research what the policies are regarding pregnancy, but also the policies what you have regarding maternity leave. If it's not clear, ask HR or ask your manager or ask a previous woman that a colleague that within the company who faced going through pregnancy within the company herself, because we do need to hear those stories, and we do need to learn from that. Especially in the Netherlands, a lot of women don't realize that they are obliged to have an hour, how do you say pause?
You can have
an hour rest. You have your break. You have a proper
room. There's lots of regulations.
Yes. So please look out, investigate what are the local guidelines. So look at what the government is sharing about being pregnant, but also coming back to work, and look out, research what is happening within the workplace. And as a personal tip of mine, connect with other mothers, because you need that sisterhood, you need that motherhood, and you need to share experience. Because my mother, she forgot about her pregnancy, and I'm the first of the 4, and she didn't realize that she was going through a postnatal depression herself. So that was after talking to her and seeing, the things from the past, that I memorized that she wasn't happy when during some of the pregnancies. I don't know if my brothers or sisters are watching, so I'm not going to share who, but there were some pregnancies where she weren't happy. And then I realized that she was going through a not so positive phase for herself. And the last thing that I do want to share is before you became a mother, you are a person. Remember that you, after giving birth to your child, remain that person or be that person, because your motherhood role is a title, but that's not the only title and the only role that you're wearing. So what I'm trying to say is go out with friends, speak, just have a lunch, or maybe have a coffee or a tea, so that you socialize and feed off investing in your own personal development. That's what I'm saying in all these fancy words, but invest in you. That's what I'm sharing, what I wanted to share. So
one sunny thumbs up and one regular.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Can you share 3 tips for companies to attract working mothers during the war for talent? Natasha.
Cool, I'll start.
Yeah.
3 tips of what we do here in our organization and what other companies can kind of pick up. Is to just be real with the talent, tell them how it is like being a working mother here in your organization, and just be really real with them, because the last thing you want is for them to come in and be like, all right, where's the nursing room? And there's none, So yeah. The second one is definitely, to echo what you mentioned before, Vivian, is really that support group is really to build, this employee resource group that mothers can kind of hang out with other mothers, and have that support system, a place they can share their tips and things like that. That's really cool. I know in places like in other organizations, they even have a pregnancy group as well that actually teach them how to do breastfeeding, breastfeeding sessions, which I'm like, wow, that is amazing. So that's pretty cool as well. I think the third tip I'll share is really show how flexible you are and how you can accommodate for mothers. So just to put it out there, we're moving to a really cool new building, and we're working with the design team to actually even have a space for children. And yeah, which
okay.
is
So
cool.
that means that you're promising to share pictures when it's done, right? Am I hearing that right?
That's amazing. I'm so excited. I can't believe that's a part of my project, that I have to pick toys for kids in our organization. Everyone. But yeah, it's super cool. So just show them, you can have it all sometimes. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I'm really looking forward to just have maybe a sneak preview once it's done. Please share the images so that I can highlight that room as well. And Marjolijn, for you?
Well, the top tip at the top of the list is to work out an employee journey map for mothers. Yeah. Maybe make two. Make one for pregnant women and make one for mothers. And talk to actual mothers and talk to pregnant women to figure out what their experiences are and what's holding them back, what the bottlenecks are, what's not a big problem at all you don't need to work on first, because you will definitely figure out new things and find new bits of information that you hadn't thought of before. I mean, an obvious one is that Friday afternoon drinks are great for employees, but not for moms, because they just need to get that baby out of daycare, or they want to just go home and you could do it on a different day perhaps, but not Friday afternoons. And there's lots of little things there that you're not aware of that limit talent to really fully be utilized, and that limit people. If you really definitely have to be in at 9 a.m. and you can't make it work with your daycare, or your kid's sick and you need to work from home, the flexibility, like Natasha said, is really important. But there's definitely different things that are going to come out of an employee journey map that you hadn't realized, or that you hadn't realized were so important, and that are really often structural things that make it more difficult for mums, for powerful mums that bring a lot of value to the workplace. They haven't realized that we're holding them back.
Yeah. I totally agree. Sorry, Natasha, what were you saying?
No, I love the employee journey. I'm like literally taking notes right now so that we can kind of later. It's so much fun.
Get back to me after, and I'll help you out with that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, when it comes to attracting working mothers, right? Like Natasha shared, be honest about if you have a nursing room, and if not, be honest about what is the alternative that you have. Maybe there is something else that you can offer, or maybe you're in a co-working space where another company has a nursing room or has a remote nursing room. There are so many ways to accommodate mothers, and also
disabled toilet, because that'll make them run away.
I mean, no. After this interview, after this episode, I don't want to hear any more stories about mothers pumping in the restroom, because that is a no-go. That is a no-go. So
can I share a story about that?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
I'm not interrupting the flow here, but one of the first companies that I worked in HR, we had a mom coming in, and she was employed, and she asked one of my coworkers in my HR team, where can I pump? And that HR person didn't know the answer, because she had never been asked the question before. She said, well, I have no idea. Well, perhaps you could use this toilet because it's the most roomy one. And then later on I found out, and then I became pregnant myself, and I thought, oh my goodness, that was really bad. That was a really bad response. Because someone else had come along and really made a point of, we need a pumping room. We need a mother room. So this is not on. And I said, you're rightly so. You're really right. But what I thought was, okay, that was a mistake. Now we know better, and now we do better.
Yeah, true.
And that also goes for the question, oh, was that a planned baby? That's okay. That's none of your freaking business.
No.
Now you know. Now you know better. Now you're not going to ask people that anymore. Even if you're wondering, they may offer that information at a later stage if you're chatting. That's a really bad question.
I mean, in my mind, I was just thinking like, okay, do you need to have a schedule of when, we are having, intimate time? Because that to me was a totally inappropriate question. So
when you know better, you do better.
True. Maya Angelou. Yes, I love that quote. And regarding to mothers, the 3 tips that, or one of the other tips that you can share is, we know that sometimes a company doesn't know how to deal with the things or how to help mothers out. Just like Marjolijn shared, maybe help Marjolijn shared about the employee journey for mothers, but also ask them, involve them so that they can help shape the new work environment, because we're in this together, especially now with during COVID. And one of the other things that also Natasha shared about is flexibility, because in the Netherlands before, remote working was only mainly for IT or for those remote workers, so consultants. Now we're being asked by the government that we have to work from home as much as possible. And I see so many positive experiences, so many positive stories, companies really going all out to help employees to work from home. So in my mind, it is like, okay, after COVID, we need to embrace flexibility. We need to help parents become more flexible, because sometimes it doesn't work out to be there on time on 9 o'clock or maybe 8:30. And I also wanted to emphasize, I know that this broadcast is especially for mothers, but we have parents in all shapes and sizes and in all diverse people. Know that to look out for a policy that works for all parents, that include all parents. I know that this broadcast is only for working moms, but I do know that there are working fathers. I do know that there are working other couples. And I don't want to exclude them from this conversation, but because of the topics, I am focusing on the moms. But know that in my heart, I'm also, I also want to address the fact that the companies that are watching, HR managers, CEO, maybe address it also from an inclusive parent policy. That. The last question. What is your wish for 2025 regarding humanizing the workplace and working mothers? Natasha.
Whoa, okay.
I know, it's a big question.
It's a huge question. I mean, 2025, goodness me. I wish for a workplace to be a lot more empathetic to working mothers. And moms out there, not to be so hard on yourselves. That is my wish for everybody. I can share that when I was growing up, my mom was the working mom. And she knew she couldn't be there for us for everything. So she told us ever since we were kids that she's going to prioritize 3 things. Right. And she said, when you're sick, I'll be there, when you do well in school, or when you break something. And these were sort of, I mean, obviously it meant that, she missed a couple of piano lessons or whatever that it is, but she prioritized and we knew where we stood and she was always there for us. So I think at the end of the day, moms out there, don't be so hard on yourself. I know some days it's hard and some days it's you're juggling all these plates, but it's okay. We're all in this together. For employees, we just be real with us, right? We are different now than before we were mothers, but we're still the same. We still want to be here. We still want to contribute to your organization. We just got a different way to do it. So stay flexible, stay real, and yeah, that's about it.
Thank you. And Marjolijn.
I love one of the first things that Natasha said. I mean, the whole thing was great, and more empathy. And the other one is that, there's the sun again. Yeah. Make your assumptions go down. Make interest in your curiosity go up. Yeah. Yourself, for employees, for the women in the workplace. And then you'll figure it out. I mean, you'll find a way, you'll get the information, you'll talk to each other, you find out what is really actually going on. When you drop those assumptions about what women should be, what you should be as a working mom, what what they can contribute, what they can't contribute, what they will have lost and have been become a dead weight to the company, whatever. If you make assumptions, because they're not true, and get curious about what's really going on. My wish is that will bring about a much more realistic view of every individual situation.
I want to piggyback on that regarding empathy. So we are all humans, and I'm not forgetting that you came from a mother yourself. And if your mother or your sister or your wife or girlfriend is facing the same thing that working mothers now are facing regarding maternal bias, it can be harmful for the unborn child. It can be destructive for the future relationship. It can be hurting for your company brand. So think beyond what it costs. Think beyond, think about, the investment, what you're getting back if you treat a mother in a certain way, or if you have more empathy for the situation, because becoming a mom is already challenging. Having a growing body is already challenging. And the last thing that you want to do is cause a situation where it might be harmful for the mother or for the child. And that's not what you want. So my wish is to end the biases. I know we have a long way to do, but I'm playing my part, or we are all playing our part during this discussion. And let's make the workplace more humanized for mothers.
Yes.
Yeah. I have one thing. You have a fan, Natasha Marjolijn Vlug. She's sharing hello from Singapore. Go Tash. Moms should start adding their mom skills on their CV. That's a good thing.
Yes.
That's a good thing. Thank you, Marjolijn, for adding that. She was a previous guest speaker. So I want to thank you, ladies, for this discussion. I know we went over time, but the information was so, I had to go over time with this. But I wanted to thank you from my heart, because I hope to inspire the mothers. I hope to inspire employers and employees with this conversation. And please continue this conversation, and know that the three of us are available. If you want to you want to answer any question, we want us to answer any questions, or if you're watching the replay, also share your comments in there, and I will direct it to the ladies if you want to refer to them. But know that you're not alone in this, and know that we are here to help. So thank you for this conversation, and I'm going to log off. So Natasha and Marjolijn, if you can please hold on to the end of the conversation, and I'm just going to close off. So just for now, I'm going to share the broadcast for the upcoming days. So tomorrow I'll be sharing healthy tips for remote workers. That will be Wednesday, 18 March, 3 p.m. Central European time. So 3 p.m. Central European time. And the day after that, I'm going to be having a Dutch day. So the first conversation will be held in the morning, 10 a.m. with someone from 𝗔𝐶. It might be Mark-Peter Pijper, but it also might be his colleague, about 𝗔𝐶 and the intrinsic motivation in Dutch. And another Dutch conversation will be about, I don't know how to translate bezieling, but it will be about purposely at the workplace, or soulfully at the workplace. And it will be with Mireille Bruin, 7:45 p.m. Central European time. So next week will be all loaded with a few English conversations. And again, I want to thank you for watching this. And if you're watching the replay, also thank you for watching the replay, and share this discussion with other people, share this interview with other working moms, so that they can feel inspired, and share this with HR as well, so that they can also learn from this conversation. Thank you. And until the next time, my name is 𝗵𝐵𝐾𝐵𝐵. Goodbye.